Okay, guys, I'm gonna show you guys. Some of the my audit spots. Meaning my folks that audit management assignments have had. The audit assignments that I've had. I'm just gonna go to the. I'm gonna go to the bank teller. Yeah. So. One of them has been this Trust local branch. Another one is the McDonald's near Powers and Silver Star Road, and the other one is the Wendy's right next to that, and the KFC right next to that, and the Subway right next to that. Eventually, they're all going to be bought up franchises or subcontracted franchises, which are going to be affiliated, associated, or even, literally attached.
You're recording.
No, I'm on the phone.
Yes, you are recording.
Okay, I'll call you right back, guys.
The first week of June, so first is renewing on
So, guys,
there's another one that's renewing on the 5th.
essentially, this is what's going on. There was some sort of initiative by the FBI, but some of the fired folks at the FBI to turn some of these branches into part of cooperatives just for the employees unlawfully incorporated. Okay, literally unlawfully incorporated into life savings or life earnings accounts. Clearly unconstitutional. It was going to be for their private use, former federal agents and their friends, whoever they associated with, and I caught them. So this particular bank, as you said, as I said, and the McDonald's and Wendy's and KFC and Subway right next to Powers and Silver Star Road will all be placed into some sort of cooperative for the community. And we'll have a lot of cooperatives, for investment purposes and for wealth appreciation purposes having to do with the community, especially minority communities here in the state of Florida. We're going to create cooperatives and so forth, and it's this sort of concept will be developed. But the woman I'm about to speak with, the banker, I know her daughter. I'm pretty sure I have at least one offspring with a daughter, and she's trying to hide it. She's ashamed because I'm African American, and her daughter is Indo-Caribbean, or she is Indo-Caribbean. Meaning of South Asian descent and so forth. Okay, so we are fixing that sort of situation. We're enlightening people, and they're developing well at times, but they just don't want to get into any sort of placed under criminal prosecution. So you can see that she overreacted. But I'm gonna calm her down. I'm gonna calm her down and explain that I just want to make sure that my account is not associated or attached to any sort of criminal activity by the bank, or fishy investment practices of tourists and so forth. Okay. So guys, I've been auditing the different fast food restaurants and some of the banks and some of the community centers and charities and this in Orlando, Florida, and in other parts of Central Florida, in all honesty. And as you can see, I'm in Orlando, Florida, near Powers and KFC. And you can see I'm going to show you the Subway restaurant. Okay, but essentially, what I want you guys to get out of this is that we are creating cooperatives, financial and community-oriented cooperatives for the communities, especially the minority communities here in Central Florida. And we're going to have similar projects in South Florida as experimental, as foundational, and it's going to spread out to, throughout the United States, and it's also going to gain traction all over the world. It's not necessarily a new idea that has never been approached before or conceptualized in some form before. But now it actually makes sense. But now it actually makes more sense to have it enacted as fundamental to the new paradigm that we are approaching. So, this is what I want you guys to understand. The cooperatives, they are not financial investments for private citizens or private institutions per se. They are not necessarily what you would consider capitalist beyond any federal or standard regulation or of some sort of exemption. What the cooperatives provide is that the community will be able to invest in the cooperatives, and for the benefit of the whole community. It'll allow individuals, households, and partnerships and so forth to be able to invest and receive insurance and receive assistance and sometimes subsidized benefits or subsidized assistance from these cooperatives and their partners. Okay, so even though wealthy folks and wealthy partnerships and organizations and institutions, or more affluent institutions and activists and so forth, may be able to gain financially from being part of cooperatives, it's not necessarily purposed with this. It's purposed. Cooperatives are purposed with aiding the infrastructural, social, economic, financial. Well, that's all tied into infrastructural, and even political development of the respective community, the respective constituency, jurisdiction, geographic constraint, whatever, however you want to identify it. But it's a concept that's going to work perfectly within the new age we are entering into integration. So yeah, we are going to create the EAA, the Free Trade and Economic Area of the Americas in 2026. And we're going to have the Supreme Tribunal of the Americas located in Miami. We're going to have the General Assembly of the Americas located in the Commonwealth of Dominica, which will be announced, the first associate state of the United States. And we're going to have the Executive Commissionership in the Miami area also. It's not going to have to stand out, since the Secretary General of the Organization of American States for the time being, before 2049, when the Organization of American States becomes the Union of the Americas, is proficient enough for the time being. But there will be an Executive Commissionership to help regulate and lead the EAA and its function, and that's going to be that itself will also be located in Miami, in South Florida. So we have a lot of work to do, as I always say this, but yeah. So what I want you guys to understand is that I don't need any sort of backlash with some of the folks fired by the FBI or fired by external auditors, folks who were once employees and associates of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or NSA, or the CIA, were fired, and they just wanted some sort of financial backing or some sort of financial incentive to not petition their case, or to not appeal the decision, and this and this and that. Okay, no, you guys are not going to create cooperatives for any financial investment endeavor. That's just not going to happen. The only sort of cooperative that you guys, the folks fired within the federal government, can receive is sort of insurance. Not insurance which will allow them to keep their houses and so forth if they keep with the standards provided by the mortgaging or the leasing or the rental agency or office or a business, per se. But yeah, all right. So you guys might be able to receive that sort of help.
but also the cooperatives I'm going to create in Central Florida, in working with some of the banks and some of the civil society organizations with the backing of the federal government of the United States and INTERPOL. What we will provide is to allow some of my some of the women who have biologically mothered my biological and genetic children. Once again, this is how I'm going to make sure that these women who have biologically mothered my biological and genetic children, my kids, over 3,000 at this particular point, will be able to train and nurture, with the assistance of the Central Intelligence Agency, the first class of black CIA agents and auditors and analysts. It's a secret, but the Central Intelligence Agency is predominantly white, and the policy, the custom, not even the policy, but the custom, naturally, based on the history of the United States of America, is to only hire whites and to have some sort of a quarter of blacks, just to not have to deal with legal contest and legal backlash and so forth. But anyway, we have convicted the protocol, and we have convicted the proponents of the protocols, which held blacks and other minorities, including immigrants, from being able to have actual and nominal and effectual positions within the Central Intelligence Agency and the rest of the intelligence community. But they will be able to receive at least $1,000, $1,200 a month, or maybe just $1,000 a month, backed by the Social Security system, Social Security Administration system, not necessarily having to do with traditional Social Security benefits, but it will be backed by the Social Security system, which will allow them to get at least $1,000, and the payment a month. The payment won't stay SSI. I want you guys to understand that. But there will be so many covers and evolutions. It will evolve from SSI payments to variated acronyms detailing the payments or hiding the covertness of the payments from the Central Intelligence Agency via the cooperatives. So that's how it's going to work. These mothers, they will be able to get $1,000 to $1,200 a month. We are moving folks out of South Florida, moving them out all over the country, just to bring in my partners to South Florida with me. And they're going to get about $1,000 to $1,200 a month. They won't have to pay utilities. The subsidized payments will be backed by the cooperatives. They wouldn't have to pay utility payments on a monthly basis for the most part. Car notes and stuff like that. All of that would have to be will be paid by the cooperatives, backed by the Central Intelligence Agency and INTERPOL, since this is an international project and so forth. Okay, so yeah. What else was I gonna say? Yeah. Okay, so that's how that's gonna work. Okay, and some of these women, they're gonna work with me at the University of Miami, Coral Gables, the School of Law. Some of these women, they're gonna work at St. Thomas University, the College of Law. Some of these women, they're gonna work at the University of South Florida. And some of these women are gonna work at Florida International University, FIU. And I promise you, it's my decision. And some of these women are gonna have to, I'm gonna be quite serious. So some of the celebrity women that I do have children with, they're gonna stay in Los Angeles for the most part, or some might even stay in New York. But those who went to Howard University with me, Southern University with me, FAMU, and so forth, and some of the other professional women that I've met in different industries, middle income, educated for the most part, they will be the ones who are gonna, guaranteed move to South Florida with me, and it's just gonna be them and my kids. That's the reality, okay? That's the reality. I've went through a lot of pain to try to articulate this, and I've explained the reasons to why. It's hard to comprehend that I am who I say I am. It's hard to comprehend it at times. I do understand that, okay? And when I say I am this particular person, do not say that discredits everything I say. No, it does not. It's temporary declassification. I want you guys to take this seriously. This is reality. The reality is that God exists. The reality that what's unknown to the general public does not mean that it's not fact. It just means that it's unknown to the general public before briefing, and even sometimes after briefings. Okay? So, but anyway. So yes, I'm Shawn Dexter John. I am the chief manager of the United States government. I am the nominal manager of the Central Intelligence Agency and INTERPOL, the partnership, and so forth. You know, the CIA and INTERPOL partnership. We are on the verge of creating AmeriPol as an agency and no longer as some sort of association of law enforcement and police agency, law enforcement agencies throughout the hemisphere, and you know, and so forth. You know, so we have a lot of work to do, but yeah, I'm quite serious. Okay, and the Central Intelligence Agency is quite serious. We're going to have NATO agents who are being trained in Western Europe and in Bermuda, who are being trained to be able to move to the United States, about 50,000, and they will be able to provide security and for our intelligence and security apparatus, our system, and to keep my family, my households, and my kids quite safe. 50,000. Okay, 50,000 agents. Overnight, they're just going to show up by the end of the summer for the most part. So folks are moving out of Miami right now. They're preparing to move all over the country, empty houses and so forth. That's what's going on. All right? I have to document identity.